Okay, hello everyone. So my last video talking about a potato for an hour, I'll be honest with you, I got to the end and I was sort of like, that was too easy, you know? It kind of bummed me out because I was like, man, that was a piece of cake. And I was watching that, oh shit. Oh no. I already lost it. Crap. I lost the peanut. Oh, jeez. Sorry, hang on one second. I think I feel it. That's a battery. God damn it. Where the hell is it? Wait, oh, okay, there it is. Wait a minute, okay. Oh, great. The people are going to love that one. That little noise there. Okay, wait, that's it. That feels like a peanut. Oh, it's really in there. Jeez. You gotta be kidding me. Am I gonna have to go in the store and get another peanut? Hang on a minute. God damn it. Where the hell is it? It vanished. Oh, God. It's completely gone. It's completely disappeared. I have no idea where it is. Shit. This is a train wreck already. This is a disaster. Okay, well, I can't find the peanut. I can't find it. So I already lost it. What am I going to do? Should I just try to talk about what I remember the peanut being like for 2 hours? I didn't really get a very good look at it. I mean, did I? I'm just gonna see if I can try to remember. I mean, I figured, well, I'll have plenty of time to look at it during the 2-hour video, so I will not look at it at all or make any observations before the video starts. I'll save it all for the video. And then as soon as I started the video, I dropped it. Okay, well, I will look for it intermittently. That would actually kind of give the video a good dramatic structure, to sort of look for the peanut. And then hopefully I can find the peanut at some point in the video, and that'll be sort of like a climax, So I was, watching that figure skater, the Olympian. And I was like, you know what? I really don't do anything like that. I don't push myself. I feel like I am just sitting I'm a bump on a log, And I was like, I want to really suffer. I want to really, really feel like I said, I want to think of a video where by the end of it, I am crying for my mommy, because that's really how, because I finished the potato video and I was just like, yeah, whatever, another day, day in the life. So with this one, I really wanted to just really suffer. And so that's what I'm hoping this video is going to achieve. It's going to be a real endurance test, especially now that I can't find the peanut. So I hope that I hope we got a thumbnail, Eddie. I'm sorry, because that's the only peanut I have. So, and I can't go back. I already started. I already got a roll going here, so I can't go back in the store and get another peanut. I don't understand how it could completely vanish, because it wasn't even under the seat. Oh, God almighty. I don't even feel it under here. It's like it's completely gone. Wait, is that it? Hang on a minute. That's a pistachio. Why is there every other nut in here except for a peanut? It's like it dropped into a void. Wait, is that it? That's it. I think I feel it. I don't even know what that is. Oh, God. And now my back is hurting because I didn't get any sleep last night at all. I went to bed and, I guess I got some sleep at the beginning of the night, but then I woke up again at midnight, And I was like, oh, well, you know, every time that happens, whenever I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, God, no, please no. Because I know that means that I'm just going to be laying there, you know, convulsing in agony for the next 3 hours. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. You know, I was like, well, maybe, because it's always like, if I miss the train, you know, if the sleep train goes by and I don't board in the first 10 minutes after waking up, then I'm never going back. It's never going to happen, you know. And I can feel myself, sometimes I lay there and I can feel myself getting a little sleepy again, and I'm like, oh, the train's coming again, I gotta hop on the train, I can't miss this one. And then I'm like, you know, and then of course train goes by again, so I'm like, well, when's the next train coming? Never. So I laid there convulsing in agony for several hours, and then, okay, also, there were people who were like, you didn't talk about the potato, you talked about other stuff tangentially related to the potato. I told you my rule was that as long as it is 2 subjects of conversation removed from the potato, or the object from which it's began, that's fine. I will admit that maybe the rule breaker was the tangent about the left turn was not related to the potato, but it was a moral, I feel that I had a moral obligation to put that into the world. You know, it was sort of a humanitarian thing. So I allowed myself that one. So this is related to the peanut, because the peanut really is sort of a device, a literary device. Excuse me. So I'm going to look for it again. I literally don't understand what happened. Because you saw, it was on the video. It fell right there. That's a dime. Everything in this damn card but a peanut. Ow! Fell asleep. Or no, I didn't fall asleep. I woke up. The opposite. And laid there till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I just gave up. And I said, I'm just going to get up. You know, fuck it. So I woke up and started my morning routine. Hot water heater is broken. So I took an ice cold shower and sat there and watched the sun come up. But that's okay, because again, suffering makes you a better artist. It really does, you know. And so I said, this is good. This is good for me, because this will bring an interesting energy to the peanut video, hopefully. So the reason why I have peanuts is because, because this is related to the peanut. First, just so let's at least, I'm trying to remember what the peanut looked like. It looked like a regular peanut from what I have to find this peanut. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm gonna look in the back seat. Because maybe it fell back, under the regular seat. Ah! I found it. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank goodness. There it is. Oh, man, peanut. Mwah. Oh, thank the Lord. Did we get that on video? I hope we got that. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Oh, wow. Thank goodness. Well, to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't find it until like 45 minutes in, so that there would be a narrative arc, but that's okay. That was a good dramatic start, So, okay, now check this out. This peanut, now that we have the opportunity to really get a good look at it, this is one hell of a specimen, So, and just in case we didn't get the thumbnail before, let's try to get another one. I'm never sure if I should smile like this or what's a YouTube face. Now, that's a little too much. Let's try again, because maybe we'll get some more suffering energy later on in the video. Okay, so this peanut, it's not that interesting, to be honest with you. It was more interesting when I couldn't find it. The idea of the peanut, you know, what I imagined the peanut to be, was better than the reality of what the peanut was, you know. And that's really a metaphor, I think, you know. Things are better when you can't find them, or when you don't have them. And then when you have them, you're like, oh yeah, great. Now, it is a pretty neat, it's so strange because, okay, this is going to be really hard. Because I just checked the clock and I'm 10 minutes in. 2 hours. I said I was going to talk about this fucking peanut. But that's good because I want to suffer. This video is all about my suffering. Okay. So I can't even think about one thing to talk about this peanut. That's the other thing, because the whole point of me telling the story about not being able to sleep was because I already started the day sort of, you know, in the negative. You know, it's good. You want to be able to start the day from a level, you know, 0.0. But I started this morning at like a -3, you know, which isn't that bad. But at the same time, it was like, boy, now when I do this peanut video, it's really going to be, it's going to be extra tough. Because with the potato video, I had a lot of energy. I was very spry. I had a lot of sort of enthusiasm for the concept, you know. So I'm wondering if maybe I'll bit off a little bit more than I can chew here, but it's all right. So let's sort of get into this, the sensory aspects of this peanut. It doesn't really smell like anything. Let me just make sure that I don't have I'm sorry, I'll try to do this off camera, but Eddie, baby, cut that out, Eddie. Okay. All right. Sorry, it's got to be 2 straight hours. Sorry. Well, now it kind of smells like a peanut. You would not believe how hard it is to find peanuts that are still in the shell. And you wouldn't think that, because I feel like every time I see peanuts without the shell, there's like 1,000 of them, you know, because it's like they have a box, you know, at Five Guys or something. And this is not an ad for Five Guys. Five Guys can go fuck itself. Five Guys can go fuck themselves because their cheeseburgers are fine, but they are certainly not worth, you know, by the time you do the cheeseburger and the fries, you know, and the drink, you're $30 in the hole for a perfectly average cheeseburger. You know, it's just ridiculous. I remember Five Guys really being a novelty when they came out. You know, and at that point it was like the best thing since sliced bread. But then I feel like they just sort of pushed it, you know. That's why I think In-N-Out, people are like, oh, In-N-Out versus Five Guys. It's like, well, you know, and this is related to peanuts because they have peanuts at Five Guys. You know, it was like In-N-Out versus Five Guys. You know, you couldn't, sorry, the lack of sleep is already getting to me here. What was I talking about? In-N-Out. So In-N-Out, I think, has the edge over Five Guys for being cheap. But Five Guys, it does taste better, but you can't enjoy the taste because you're thinking about how you just overdrafted your checking account paying for this stupid burger, you know. So at least with In-N-Out, you're like, okay, well, it's not that great, but for $2, you know, it's, I would eat a fucking, you know, I don't care if it's been in the trash, you know. One thing that I will say about In-N-Out is that the line is always, you certainly are not In-N-Out of that place. You're sitting in the line of cars that's going down all the way down the freeway, you know, backing up the off-ramp because people are for some reason lining up around the block to get In-N-Out. I assume because they've really succeeded in their branding of being like, oh, you're in California, you have to get In-N-Out. Oh my gosh, we have to go to In-N-Out. And so the whole it's sort of the novelty of the experience when the actual burger itself is very mediocre. Sorry. The fries, even worse. I'm sorry, but I just, it ain't worth that. Again, the price point is decent. But if we're talking about, if we were evaluating all burgers on a level playing field, the reason this is related to peanuts is because they have peanuts at Five Guys. Okay, so we're now two topics removed. And when I say topics removed, I'm talking about, so there's this theory that everybody is 6 degrees away from Kevin Bacon. I don't know if you've heard of that. That used to be a thing on the internet. So the idea is that you know somebody who knows 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 Kevin Bacon. So it's like you're 6 people away from Kevin Bacon at all times. That's what I'm talking about when I say topics removed from the peanut. So if I say this peanut, oh, they have peanuts at Five Guys, that's one topic removed. Five Guys is, what are some other fast food restaurants that have burgers? That's 2 topics removed, because you can say, if I'm talking about Wendy's burgers, you can say, well, I'm talking about Wendy's burgers because I was talking about Five Guys burgers, and they have peanuts at Five Guys, right? Peanuts. I got to make sure to enunciate this for the YouTube community guidelines. So that's 2 topics of conversation removed. So that's fine. Now, if I started getting into, once I start getting into like, oh, Wendy's, they have, Wendy's is a ginger girl, and I start talking about ginger girls, then that's 3 topics removed because you leapfrog it back. So then I'd be like, I don't know if I should talk about this because it's 2. But talking about other fast food restaurants is still okay. So if we're talking about all burgers, if we put all burgers on a slab out of context and we removed everything like the price and the experience and all of that, if I was in a concrete dungeon, in the dark, and I had all burgers on a slab from every fast food restaurant, I would say, well, it depends also. There's a lot of variables within that, because the specific chain restaurant that you go to, I've had all sorts of experiences. And honestly, the older that I've gotten, my favorites used to be Sonic and Wendy's. I used to think that Sonic and Wendy's always really turned it out, But I went to Sonic and Wendy's recently, and they were bad. It was awful. It was really quite awful. And so now I don't even know what to think, because then that used to be like the cream of the crop. And I don't know if maybe that's just because everything has gotten worse, But now it's like, why the hell would you ever go to Wendy's and Sonic when they're, again, you're spending $20, $30 for the same bullshit that you might as well then just go to Chipotle, spend the same amount of money. It's like every single thing. You can't get dinner. You cannot get a meal for under $20 anymore. And honestly, these days, it's more like $30. You can't get a meal for under $30. It's impossible. And I'm talking about here in Los Angeles, California. In LA, honestly, it's more like 40. Once you add the taxes and the bullshit. 30, probably 30. Now you can do something like, if you go to the guys who are on the side of the road or with a tent, then you can do it for under 15, but still 15. That's even that, that we're talking about guys on the side of the road. And a lot of time the food's really good there, but it's like $15 still, It's just crazy what's going on with this country. It's wild, and I don't know, okay, all right, so I got to cut that. See, this is an example of when I got to cut off, because now we're talking about the state of America, and that's like 4 topics removed away from this peanut. So let's slice that. Let's pour some cold water on that topic. And let's try to get back to the peanut. How are we doing on time here? Let me just check the time here. Okay, well, we're not even close, but that's okay. That's what I want. Remember, it's about suffering. Okay, so I guess now, since we have to bring it back to the peanut, why don't we talk about, why don't we talk about how I came into possession of this peanut? So I recently, that's what I was talking about to begin with. Okay, yeah, because it's very hard to find, all right, we're back on track. It's very hard to find peanuts that are still in the shell as an individual consumer, right? Because you can go to Cisco, and you can get, I want 10,000 peanuts that are still in the shell. But if you're just some guy, you can't go into the store and say, oh, can I just buy a pack of 10 peanuts that are still in the shell? You got to get them on the shelf. The reason why I was looking for them is because I have recently started getting into birds. So I have been trying to feed birds. And so I started off with, I wanted to do peanuts for the corvids. Corvids are things like, crows and blue jays. And out here we don't have blue jays, but we have the California scrub jay. And so the California scrub jay, I'm really trying to get some over, to my house, And so the corvids they're very smart. So they like a challenge. I don't know. I mean, I guess they like to be able to get this peanut and have to figure out they're kind of like me. I'm kind of like a corvid in that way too, because I like to be mentally stimulated, I like the challenge, just like I like the challenge of having to talk about this peanut for 2 hours. They like the challenge of having to get the peanut out of the shell, because they're a bird and they're unfortunately cursed with the intelligence of an 8-year-old child in the body of a bird. So what the hell else are they going to do all day? That must honestly be agony. It's similar to the agony that we experience, when we're intelligent, but we have to do all this bullshit all day. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that they're like, please give me a fucking peanut so I can do something so that I can kill 30 seconds out of my day trying to get the peanut out of the shell. Please, God. So I went everywhere trying to get fucking peanuts that are still in the shell. And also that led me to having a problem where I couldn't figure out the way to refer to them. Because at first I said, do you have shelled peanuts? But shelled peanuts could also mean peanuts that have been shelled. So they're out of the shell. I said, do you have shelled peanuts? And the lady was like, yeah, they're right over there. And I said, no, I can see the misunderstanding, but I'm talking about peanuts that are in the shell. And then that's just a mouthful, So it's a similar problem if you say unshelled peanuts. Because unshelled peanuts, I guess technically would mean that they have not been shelled. But unshelled also sounds like it means they have been, und from the shell. So they're not in the shell. It's just very confusing. And I can't figure, if anybody has any suggestions for what I'm supposed to call peanuts that are still in the shell other than peanuts that are still in the shell, dash. I'd really love to hear them. Because I don't understand why it has to be so difficult. But it's like everything on this fucking planet has to be an ordeal, So I went to so many places trying to find them, couldn't find them anywhere. Eventually I ordered them on Amazon, And so I got a pack of about 50 of them, And so I set them out on a platform feeder, and I was like, all right, now we just got to sit back and wait for the scrub jays to come. Of course, the next day, Mr. Squirrel comes running over, and he cannot believe that and I would imagine that the euphoria that squirrel felt in that moment, realizing that somebody had set out a literal silver platter of peanuts for him. He must have been over the moon. And I felt a little bad, I felt a little bad sort of because I took him inside after that because I was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Squirrel, but I have arbitrarily decided that I like some animals more than others. So these peanuts are supposed to be for the scrub jays. We can't, it's sort of the if you give a mouse a cookie thing, and maybe this makes me a horrible person, but I'm like, Mr. Squirrel, I can't start giving you peanuts because then you're going to chew open my screen door, and then you're going to try to come in and eat my peanuts, That was a little crass, but I thought it was funny, that's kind of funny. So Mr. Squirrel, I'm sorry, but I can't be, because then Mrs. Squirrel is going to come over and Squirrel Jr. is going to come, and then, then we're going to have Squirrelapalooza, and I just can't have that, because then that's going to ruin the whole ecosystem of my yard, So brought the peanuts in. Now I have about 50 to 100 peanuts that are still in the shell, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with these peanuts? So I've been thinking about, maybe I should think about some, trying to get a feeder that will allow. It's difficult. It's a difficult engineering problem. How do you allow the corvids? And that also sounds like, it's kind of funny because it sounds like an Australian person saying COVID, corvid. How do you allow the corvids to get the peanuts, but not the squirrels and other, sort of undesirables? We're not even talking about rats. That's a big thing that I'm worried about, is the rats. Because, again, those are another animal that I have arbitrarily decided I don't like, or that we have decided shouldn't be allowed the same rights as other animals. For no real reason, really. But I have really, I'll tell you something. At my place, I've lived here for about 5 years. I have really, there was an issue a couple years ago where there were rats in the walls. And it's okay, because I think we're still 2 topics away from removed from the original peanut. There was this incident where first I heard I heard a scratching coming from inside of the wall, the bathtub specifically. So it was like intermittently. And so I was like, At first, I thought it was a ghost. And I said, I think our bathroom is haunted. And it would come and go, every once in a while. So then it got so prolonged, because if it happens a couple times, you're like, oh, whatever, there's a ghost, who cares? But then it started to happen a lot. And it started to get more intense. It was like you could hear whatever it was right under there. So I took a video and sent it to my landlord. And I was like, there's some strange noise coming from the bathroom tub, drain. And he played the video and he was like, I don't think that's anything. And I said, oh, okay. Well, if you don't think that's anything, then I guess it's nothing, right? Landlords always love to do that. They're always like, are you sure that that's just not happening? What if that's not happening? You'll say, like, I think that something's happening, and then they'll respond like, actually, I don't think that it is. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it begins the process of 2 years. Then what they do is, you'll say, okay, I have irrefutable evidence of this problem. My ceiling caved in. The ceiling fell through and is on the floor. And you'll send them a picture of the ceiling, it's on the floor. And they're like, okay, I'm going to come over and check it out. They don't immediately go to, all right, I'm going to hire a ceiling repairman. They're like, let me just go over and make sure that your ceiling actually did cave in. Let me just make sure that for some reason this actually did happen, which delays the fixing of the ceiling for another week. Because then it's like the landlord comes over and he's like, oh yeah, it looks like the ceiling did fall in. And I'm like, yeah, it did. I texted you a picture. And so he's like, well, I guess I'll have to get a ceiling repairman. Yes, of course you will, because the ceiling fell in, and that's what I told you already happened. Every single thing is like this. And with the rat specifically, boy, oh boy, was this an ordeal. Because texted my landlord again, because he said maybe that's not happening. And so I said, all right, well, maybe it's not happening. Maybe he's right. But of course it was still happening. It wouldn't happen all the time, So I would forget about it, and then it would start again. And I couldn't figure out what it was, because it sounded like it was inside of the drain, And it was like it seemed like, I don't know what it seemed like. I couldn't figure out if it was maybe water in there. Then that's the other thing the landlord then said was like, well, maybe it's the downstairs neighbors using the shower. And I was like, okay, but unless they're taking 15-second showers, every 40 minutes, maybe they have severe OCD or something. I don't think that that's what it is, because that doesn't line up with typical showering, intervals. So then I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, because it was like another year that we would intermittently hear that. And then, what was the next sort of inciting incident in this? I can't really remember. I think what happened was eventually I started to realize that it was probably rats, and it became constant. And that was very horrifying, because I don't know if you've ever been able to hear rats scratching behind your wall, but you start to realize that what they're doing is trying to get in. And with every scratching sound that you hear, they're getting a little closer, because they're scratching more and more of the wall off. That really starts to mess with your head at a certain point. If 24 hours a day you're hearing the rats closing in inside of your walls. And so I was like, I'm living in a horror movie. This is horrible. I am literally living in an Edgar Allan Poe story right now. And so the landlord came over and he said, all right, I have got the perfect, the first thing he said was, there are rats in the world. And I said, yes, that's true. And he said, so sometimes, they're around, And I said, okay, well, the problem isn't that they're out there. I don't care if they're outside in the world. The problem is that they're inside. And he said, well, sometimes, there are the inside and the outside. It's a very interesting sort of difference. What is really the difference between inside and outside? And he started getting into the philosophical nature of what the inside of a building is to begin with. And I said, get the rats out of the building. And he said, okay, don't worry. I have got the perfect solution to this. I bought this $2 piece of shit scam from Home Depot. This little thing that you plug in. It's pretty amazing. It does absolutely nothing. You plug it into your wall socket, and it makes a noise that is undetectable to the human ear, but it drives the rats crazy. If we will plug this in, all the rats will be gone, just like it says on the box. See, it says on the box, works, in big, yellow and red letters. And I said, if there was a device, unfortunately I didn't say this, but I thought this. I said, if there was a device that you could buy at Home Depot for $2, that was a sonic weapon that would immediately, completely eradicate rodents from a space permanently, that would change the entire economy of Earth. That would be an invention that changed the course of humanity forever. But that didn't happen. So clearly they must not work then. Right? And he said, well, because I didn't say that, unfortunately, I'm not that articulate until after the fact. You ever think about, I've spent a lot of mornings in the shower shampooing my hair thinking about this incident, It's a little joke because I'm bald. I'm bald by choice, by the way. I could grow it back. See? I could grow this back. I could. So he said, well, listen, why don't we just see if maybe, I know that you just said this device doesn't work according to all evidence, but let's just see if maybe that's not true. Let's see if maybe it does work. Let's see if maybe we are going to be the first people in history who plug a $2 piece of shit into the wall that magically eradicates all rodents. So he plugged it in, did nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And he said, well, let's give it about 2 weeks to work. Constant scratching still. So I said, okay, it's been 2 weeks, not working. And he said, well, it might take a while. It said it might take a while. It said it might take 6 months, to a year. And I said, get the rats out of the house. Because they're going to come in the house. And he said, well, they're not going to come in the house. Why would they do that? And I was like, because that's exactly what they want to do. Because why would they just hang out in the wall? They want to come inside because inside is great. That's why we're inside. They are inferior beings. Now, I shouldn't say that. That's a little bit, Well, I guess it kind of is true. Evolutionarily, they couldn't think of inside as a concept. They couldn't invent inside, but we could. We invented the most amazing thing. Inside. We figured out a way to not be outside. Outside is the worst, most horrible place. And we figured out a way to, it never rains on us. It's whatever temperature we want it to be. We have unlimited food. We have unlimited water. We have everything. We have little boxes that fuck our dopamine receptors all day. Talking about phones and televisions. And we have everything we could ever want. Inside is amazing. So every animal wants to be in there too. Every animal wants inside. But they can't because it's ours. So another year went by. And the problem continued to progressively get worse. And erode my mental health, which was already on pretty thin ice. All of a sudden, out of the blue, he says, all right, I've decided that I am going to get the rodent people to come. I'm going to hire some guys, the exterminators. And they're going to come tomorrow and they're going to seal up every hole in the house, and they're going to be on the roof and they're going to fix everything. And I said, what made you suddenly decide now after 2 years of me having this problem that now... Oh! The other thing I forgot to mention is that it smelled like rotting flesh constantly because they were dying in the walls. It smelled like rotting flesh, and there were corpse flies everywhere. You would walk in the house, and there would be 10 flies that are engorged with rat guts sticking to the screen of the window. And I would text him a picture of all the flies, and I say, do you see this? And he'd say, yes, those are flies. And I say, this is a problem. And he'd be like, I hear you. Red, 7 p.m., whatever it was. So finally one day he randomly decided that he was going to actually do what he should have done 2 years ago. And so I was like, why did you randomly decide now to fix the problem after 2 years? And he was like, oh, I just felt like it. So I said, okay. So the people came. And all morning they were, hammering on the wall and on the roof and everything. And what they were doing was they were filling up all of the holes that were allowing people from outside, animals from outside, to come inside, And they said, so here's what is going to happen. You have rats nesting inside of your house. What we have done is we have closed up all of the holes, allowing them to exit and enter, which means they are now stuck inside of the house with no way out. So over the next 2 weeks, you are going to start hearing an increase in noise as the rats realize that they are trapped and panic and desperately try to find a way. He said all of this. This is exactly the way that he said it as well. And desperately try to find a way out and realize they cannot and slowly die. So I said, oh, okay. Great. And so that's exactly what happened. And again, this is the noise I am hearing over the course of 2 weeks, 24 hours a day, basically torturing these rats to death. Until eventually, there was silence. My whole point with that story was I really tried to have sympathy for the rats. I really did. Sympathy for the Rats. That'd be a good band name, you know. And there's probably going to be people listening to this story who are like, you know, first of all, let me just say, if I had been in charge of the situation, it wouldn't have gone down like that. By the way, this was the landlord's fault, not mine. So all the people are like, oh, the precious rats, you know, oh my gosh. Why don't why don't you come and get them and they can go to your house? I really tried. I really did. Because I hear you, you know, non-existent people who I'm expecting to disagree with me that I've made up in my own head. I have really tried to see your side of the story. You know, I tried to be like, well, they're cute, right? I mean, they're kind of cute. And I would look up, you know, pictures of cute rats, you know, and I say, oh, look, that one has a little, you know, I don't know. What's a cute thing a rat would do in a, you know, I tried to look up Instagram videos of cute pet rats, you know. And I really tried to be like, well, maybe I can learn to love them. But then that scratching sound would come back. And it would feel like it would go straight into my brain. It was like they were coming inside my brain. And they were pulling on stuff. So I'm sorry. But it had to be done. So, were the rats in my house I was talking about because I didn't want rats on the bird feeder because I had put peanuts on the bird feeder. So we're still 2 topics away. So that was fine, that anecdote. I guess it wasn't more of an anecdote. I guess it was more of a horror story and a psychologically disturbing novella. How we doing on time? Oh, good. So we're not even halfway done. How wonderful. That's great. That's so wonderful. No, it's okay. I'm pushing myself here. Okay, let's try to circle back to the peanut. So, let's see. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh shit, I lost track. Sorry, I'm trying to count the vertical sort of ridges. All right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has about 11 vertical ridges going from top to bottom. And it's a little hard to count. It sort of has sort of a spider web like texture surrounding. And I remember that from other times that I don't want to crack open the peanut until we get to halfway through because I need to sort of pace myself here. But, you know, I always thought that was interesting how the peanuts have sort of a webbing, you know, like Spider-Man. They should make Peanut Man. Peanut Man and his special powers that he can make toddlers die instantly. because they have a peanut allergy. Just want to sit with that one for a minute. So this peanut is rather bulbous. It's got two sort of bulbs here. One is slightly larger than the other. The second bottom bulge is rounder, but this one sort of is a little bit more kind of you know. Jesus. Fucking Christ. 2 hours. 2 hours. I'm not even close. I'm not even halfway done. Alright, no. This is what you wanted, Dan. You wanted to push yourself. And you know what? You know what? We only live once. So I consider my body a vessel. And you know, the 2 hours that I spend here is a small price to pay for the 2 hours of great content that will live on for generations. Peanut. I don't know what else to fucking talk about. And it's getting hot in here. It's supposed to be another day. It's February, by the way, and yesterday it was nearly 100 degrees yesterday. And it's supposed to be another day exactly like yesterday. The weather people said, you know how horrible yesterday was? It's going to happen again tomorrow. Just really can't. I can already feel it starting to get hot in here. I tried to do this early enough in the morning, but 2 hours is going to be pushing it. I don't know if I can do this. No, I have to. That's the whole point. I have to. I got to figure out a way to make it work. So Dan, come on. Let's get some energy here. Let's reinvigorate some energy here. The rat story really took a lot out of me there. So I got to get my energy back. Got to build up to another story. I think I have to crack the peanut open. It's about halfway, right? Listen, what is it? What are we at here? No, no. No. Okay. So this is a little interesting. This one has a little thing sticking out. This little sort of hair. Oh, that's interesting. Look, and if you can grab it and peel it down the peanut, sort of like a thread. That was very interesting. That was fascinating. So how does a peanut grow? And how does a peanut get hard? A peanut, YouTube community guidelines. I'm saying peanut. Well, I shouldn't. Peanut. The food. The nut. Peanut. I don't think I've ever seen a peanut plant. And I also don't think that I've ever seen a peanut before it's dried and processed. That would be very interesting. I wonder what kind of climate peanuts can grow. I wonder what kind of soil the peanuts need. Maybe I should just fucking fall asleep. No, Dan, come on, peanuts. Dan, you've got to get a grip because you're not even halfway done. You have so much more to go. You're not even close. So you can't be falling apart now. You got to get a grip. Come on. Come on. Come on! Okay, sorry. Whew. All right. So, peanut. I'm desperately trying to think of anything else. Even, I wish that I still couldn't find it, because then I could look for it again. That would be exciting. No, I was going to throw it in the back so that I had to find it again, but I don't. I'm not a dog. And I also don't have the energy to do that. I've got to conserve my energy for more anecdotes. Jeez. Because the thing is, you know, with the 1 hour, because if it was 1 hour, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, 40 minutes, but also I'm almost done, so I just got to hack it for another 15, 20, you know, piece of cake. But with this, it's like, okay, 40 minutes, and I just need to do this for another hour and 20 minutes. Oh my God. You know, when you say it like that, it really just is horrible. Okay. All right, Dan, come on. Come on, Dan. Peanut. Put something else to talk about peanuts. I don't fucking know. It's a peanut. What am I supposed to say? You know, I try to look at everything and try to see what it can tell us about the universe. You know? Can we see the universe inside of this object or inside of this thing? Because if you think about it, everything is the universe. The universe, we are the universe experiencing itself. Saw that on Reddit once. And so everything that you see, you know, even, you know, the little car, the window button that rolls the window down of the car, that's the universe. This peanut, we have to try to see what the universe is trying to tell us about itself through this peanut. So, not really sure. I'm hoping that if I stare at it for long enough, the truth will be illuminated. You know, I suppose it is interesting that this texture. Well, here's the way that I always think about it. Why are there peanuts in general? Why? You know, why is there anything really? It starts to really hurt your brain if you start to think about it for too much. But, you know, it's like, why is there a hard shelled, you know, hear that? They're in there. They're inside the shell. I can hear them. 2 of them. Why are there 2 of them? Why did the universe give us 2 nuts inside of a shell? What is it trying to communicate to us via this peanut? I'm listening, universe. Tell me your secrets. And they're in there. Those 2 peanuts are inside of this dark shell for eternity. These 2 peanuts have no idea what a YouTube video is. These 2 peanuts have no idea that there's a man holding them who has devoted 2 hours of his entire attention to this soul of their existence. And, you know, who was the first person who tried a peanut? Who was the first person? I guess it probably was more like, you know, birds and things and ocelots. You know, animals were always eating peanuts, and so it wasn't like there was one guy who was like, how? You know, it was just sort of in our DNA to eat peanuts. It always was. Again, let me just clarify. I'm saying peanut. Why are there peanuts? And why are they this specific shape? Why are there 2? Why not 3? Why not 1? Why are there 2 inside of this shell? And why is anything the way that it is at all? Why isn't there nothing? I don't know. Maybe there is no reason to ask that question in general. Maybe it doesn't matter. But then why wouldn't it matter? God damn it, this is not good news, because I am already clocking out, and I'm halfway done. Oh geez, this is giving me flashbacks all over again to, oh God almighty. Please, somebody rescue me from this situation that I put myself in willingly. And could stop at any time, but choose not to. No, because this is the spirit that has moved humanity forward. I can't stop. Is that a scrub jay? No, don't think so. Peanut. Maybe I should just keep saying peanut over and over again for 2 hours. That would be an interesting video. Maybe that'll be my next. I think that I actually genuinely think that I would pass out if I did a video like that. I think if I did a video, because I've thought about it before. If I did a video where I just said the word peanut over and over again for an hour, I would genuinely have to go to the hospital. And I'm not joking. I know my body, and I know what I can do physically. I would have to go to the hospital. What if I just sit here? 2 hours, please be 2 hours. Okay, all right, well, we're almost halfway done. We've got just a few minutes until we're halfway done. Once we're halfway done, I'm gonna reward myself by continuing to sit here and stare into space. You know, it's interesting to think that one day I'll be gone, and the only thing that'll be left of me is this video. And if there's anybody watching this after I have passed, I don't know. That's just crazy. It's not helping either that nothing is happening around me at all, because it's Saturday morning, nobody's doing anything. All the crazy people are still passed out from getting drunk and hammered all night. Nobody in this town is productive. Everybody's a fucking lazy piece of shit. And a drug addict, and an alcoholic, and a degenerate. And you can really feel that on basically all the time, you know, especially weekend mornings like this. Nobody's getting any damn work done. That was the sound of my stomach. I'm so sorry. My stomach is like, what the hell are you doing? And also, I think it probably thinks that I'm about to eat this peanut, but I'm not. I don't really like peanuts. Well, that's not true. I do like peanuts, actually, a lot. But the idea of just eating this peanut, you know, by itself isn't very appealing to me. If it was honey roasted, you know, then we'd be talking turkey. That would be pretty good. I do love honey roasted peanuts. But then at that, it gets to a point where it's like, well, you're just a vessel for honey and sugar, you know. No, but that's not true, though, because the peanut notes of peanut and the honey really coalesces together. Stomach, I'm sorry, but we're not... This is... You better strap in, because we got another hour to go here. So shut up. Stop complaining. Peanut. What's that sound? Oh, thank God. Because if there was going to be a sound, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Alright. Well, we are halfway. Officially. 1/2. 0.5. No, wait. Yes. 0.5 out of 1. Getting lightheaded. Getting short of breath. You know, I will say that this is still easier than the... So far, this is still easier than the ChatGPT video because the peanut is not actively antagonizing me. That was very difficult. I would say that, you know, actually the most physically challenging video that I've ever filmed was a video that almost nobody cares about or remembers. And it was the video where I try to tell a joke that ends up taking, you know, a half hour or something. I forget how long the video is, but basically it's a video where I'm trying to explain a joke that I saw on Facebook and stretch it out somehow to 20 to 30 minutes. That was the only time where I started to think I might need medical attention. I don't know what it was. I think it was the fact that because I was saying the same thing over and over again and not actually cohesively explaining ideas, then it became less of me speaking, you know, and orating, and more of like just breathing really quickly and saying words that meant nothing. So then it became more of a physical hyperventilation rather than speech. which, you know, engages your mind in other ways. I don't know what it was, but I started blacking out. I literally started blacking out during that video. And then, of course, people are like, what video? I don't even remember that. But that's okay. It's not about that. It's not about the glory. It's not about the glory. It's about this peanut. Mr. Peanut. That might be copyright problems, but Mr. Peanut. If only I had a small top hat. Let's see, what do I have? Because there's nothing against the rules about engaging other objects in the vehicle. Let's see. The only thing I have is this earplug. So look, that's Peanut, Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut with a hat on it. Oh, well, look at that. Hang on, it's not sticking. Hello! He's going to Fashion Week. Mr. Peanut. I need to think of a different word because that's copyright. Sir Peanut. That sucks. The Senor Peanut? It's a little offensive. Peanut Son? Doesn't really roll off the tongue. Man, Mr. Peanut is good. They really snagged the best one. Peanut Jr.? No. You know what? I'm going to say this is Mr. Peanut, but there's a space in it. Or why does it have to be a man? You know what? Let's do Miss Peanut. Hello, Miss Peanut. Or maybe the peanut is Mrs. Peanut. Mrs. Peanut just got back from Paris Fashion Week because she has a hat on. Mrs. Peanut, why don't you tell us about who are you wearing this evening? I'm wearing an earplug. I'm wearing an earplug. Man, this is good. I don't know why it took me an hour to think about doing ventriloquy with the peanut, but this is a great idea. Who are you wearing today, Mrs. Peanut? I'm wearing an earplug. I know, I'm sorry, people don't like when I do the French or the Spanish or the Southern accent, but that's one of the only accents I can do. And any attempt to do another accent would be incredibly offensive. I'm wearing a peanut. Or I'm a peanut wearing a earplug. This same lady has been walking up and down the block 5 times. Where are you going, sis? A short film by Dan Edgell. Log it now on Letterboxd. It's on Letterboxd, by the way. Unless you're going to go on there and say, oh, well, 2 stars, it sucks. Oh, Sunloaf was better. You don't understand art. You're out of your depth. Go back to the kiddie pool. Sorry, no, I shouldn't be like that. I apologize. Log and rate it however you want. Art is all about getting multiple perspectives. So, Mrs. Peanut, what short film Sister, by the way, is a short film that I made. If you're new here, it's on my channel. It's called Sister. Mr. Peanut, or Mrs. Peanut, where did you get your hat? I got my hat from, well, let's see if I can at least try to do another accent, because we already did this. We've done the Southern a bunch of times. It's gotten old. Can I do a British accent? Hello there. We've got out. Mrs. Peanut, where's your hat from? Who are you wearing this evening? I'm wearing a whole earplug. I'm wearing an earplug. Guess I could try Australian. Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think about the Australian that can be a good, because when you try to do an accent, you have to like find a way in. So the biggest thing that I remember is there was an interview with what's his name? George McMiller, George Miller, the director of Mad Max, because he's Australian, and they were Mad Max Fury Road. They were going to film in the outback of Australia, but they had to delay because the outback got a bunch of rain and it became a flower garden. And so I always remember his interview where he's like, it became a flower garden. It became a flower garden. So they said it will dry out, but it didn't dry out enough. So we had to film it somewhere else. Mrs. Peanut, you're looking very curvaceous today. Well, thank you. Mrs. Peanut, why don't you talk for a minute, Mrs. Peanut? I can't. I gotta tell you, I gotta rest. Hi there, I'm Mrs. Peanut. I'm Mrs. Dan's gonna take a little nap right now, but Mrs. Peanut will be here to entertain you. I'm Peanut, and I have 2 nuts. Sorry, gotta get back in the zone. That really threw me there. I apologize. Dan, come on. Dan, walk in. Okay. All right. My name is Mrs. Peanut. Jesus Christ. Okay. How far are we here? Oh my God. Okay. Just 50 more minutes to go. 50 more minutes. 50 more minutes. It's getting hot in here. Might have to crack one of these. Mrs. Peanut. Mrs. Peanut. Hi there. I'm Mrs. Peanut. And I grew in the ground. Thank you for saving me from being eaten by a circus elephant. Is that true that circus elephants, I guess they don't really have circus elephants anymore. I guess that's like a reference from the 1800s. We have the circus, but now the circus is like the pit, you know, the show. Or the circus is Dan Henschel's YouTube videos. Dan Henschel talks to a peanut for 2 hours straight in a hot car. That's the circus now. It's a bird over there. Can't tell what it is. Oh, here it comes. Hey, a hummingbird! Hey! Oh my gosh. Hey, hold on. He's trying. Like, of course, he went away as soon as I. Oh, there he is. Can you see him? See him? This is shit. Fucking hell. Where'd he go? Is he back? He went over there. Wait, there. See him up there? There he is. See? Look, there he is. Yeah, you saw him there. See? There, he's flying around the dumpster. Mrs. Peanut. Mrs. Peanut. You know, Planters probably has a Mrs. Peanut. They probably did a stupid ad campaign for the Super Bowl where they were like, yeah, this is Mr. Peanut's wife, Mrs. Peanut. God, corporations are fucking taking over everything. You know what, though? I'll tell you something. That hummingbird visited me. Hello. To tell me that everything's going to be okay. Oh, hummy. What a beautiful creature. It's amazing, really. It's unbelievable. They're just unbelievable. They're unbelievable. And you know, hummingbirds are only in the Americas. That's ours. He's still here. She's still here. Maybe a female. Going in the dumpster? What are you doing? What's a pretty lady like you rooting around in the dumpster for? Must be some sugar water in there. Oh, thank God for this hummingbird. I'm sorry that I'm taking so much time on this hummingbird, but this is the only thing that is right now preserving the thread of sanity that I have left. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Don't bother looking at me, pal. You can't save me. Nobody can save me. The only person who can save me is Mrs. Peanut, Senor Peanut. Chancellor Peanut. Sergeant Peanut. Hey, now that's something. That's pretty good. Sergeant Peanut. Is there already a Sergeant Peanut? Sergeant Peanut. Tin Hut. Tin Hut. Wow. Don't know if you saw that, but some people in some old-timey cars just drove by going for a Sunday drive. Good for them. Senor Peanut. I took Spanish for 8 years, but I can't remember any of it. Senor Peanut. I can't even remember the word for peanut. Hola. Me llamo es Senor Peanut. ¿Cómo estás? I really should learn Spanish again, considering I'm gentrifying Los Angeles with my stupid content bullshit. Senor Peanut. Senor Peanut is a representation. Representation. What are some other peanut cultures that we could mash up? Peanut san. We did peanut san. That's pretty good. This one's a little esoteric. Peanut Janssen peanut. Because isn't that in Iceland? Everybody, you know, if you're a male or female, you have the same suffix on your last name. Son, and the female one is like Dadnatart or something. Peanut Janssen. Janssen, Peanut Janssen. Peanut Janssen. I have no clue what I'm saying, by the way. I've lost all perception of what is happening in this video, so I apologize. Peanut Janssen. Hey, a Cybertruck. Fuck you, you stupid twerp. Driving around in your own... Alright, sorry. God. It's like... What kind of twerp do you have to be to find a car like that independently interesting enough to buy one? You know, because I understand the type of twerp who would buy one because they like Elon Musk. What I'm wondering is there, I would be really interested to know if there's a type of person who has no idea about anything, and they just said, of all the cars, they were like, hey, this one's cool. It looks like a dumpster. Peanut Janssen. Peanut Johansson. Monsieur Peanut. Oh, that's good. I can't believe it took me so long to think of that one. Monsieur Peanut. Peanut. The Duchess of Peanut. Our... Okay, I can see the way out for the first time. Finally, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because we have, I believe, I'm not very good at math. I'm pretty sure that we have 40 minutes to go. Because, okay. So, we're about 2/3 of the way done, right? Maybe 2/3. Maybe 3/5. I think we're 3/5 or we're 4/6. Wait, so then that's just 2/3. Okay, all right, so we're 2/3 of the way done. Hey, that's pretty good. When you put it that way, that's not that bad. All right, so now I'm starting to get my energy back. Okay, because it's like, all right, we're almost there. See, the worst part is, now maybe I will have another breakdown later, but the worst part is, actually this might be the worst part, because now the sun is starting to shine in here, and that's going to increase the temperature. But the worst part is losing hope. But now my hope is back because I can see the end of the road, and that's starting to make me feel refreshed. Oh, wow. So let's maybe try to, okay, and wow, I'm so glad. See, this is what happens when you give a gift to your future self. Because now would be the perfect time to start cracking open the peanut. Okay, so I'm going to do it right up here. Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow, this is fascinating. So we have got 2 nuts in here. There's one. And there's the other. And then the really intriguing part for me is this shell, because the shell is sort of like a why it's like it almost has like a white sort of, it looks like it's been manufactured, you know, because it's got like insulation, and then it has, maybe that's something that, you know, it's interesting how often you can look at nature and realize that the things that we have engineered and invented really were just taking lessons from nature, you know, because this shells insulates the two peanuts, and it's just like you would find in a box, you know, a corrugated board. Corrugated board is the board that has two pieces of cardboard with a zigzag cardboard in the middle, for cushion, you know, because this has inside of it, it has first a layer of insulating sort of whatever, and then it has sort of a almost, it kind of looks like cardboard, you know, it's like a more denser layer. And then it has the strings on the outside that hold it together, you know, binding it. And then finally it has sort of the glazed outer layer. Fascinating. That's absolutely fascinating. See, and that's why I wanted to save opening it, because that just really was really something. That made me realize why I'm doing this. Getting to see the peanut inside. And I just want to make sure that I did record that, because that was really good. We got to make sure we're getting that. Because we only get one shot at that. We can't open another peanut, so. So now we're left with our two raw. Well, I don't think they're raw. Are they raw? They don't look cooked. Maybe they are raw. Ooh, that would be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a raw peanut. Let's take off the skin. They're certainly not, you know, like at the ball game, put in a vat of an air fryer. Bullshit, you know. I always like too how the peanuts have a little sort of I don't even know what that is, but it's like they have a little sort of thing in there, you know. This peanut looks different than the peanuts that I'm used to seeing. It doesn't look like it's been roasted or anything like that. It looks like more pale, you know. So I don't want to eat it because it's bird grade, not Dan grade. But yeah, that was pretty cool, huh? You know, and I bet there's gonna be a bunch of comments that are like, skip to 1 hour 15 when he actually opens the peanut. That's what we're all waiting for, you know. Bird brain. Not that birds are dumb. The birds are more intelligent than some of the commenters in here. Not all of them. Some of them, you guys are great. But some of you. No, I should be grateful. I have a pretty good comment section, you know. Normally I scroll through and it's like, Dan, please fuck me. Dan, you're a genius. You know, Dan, you're, you know, all this. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. You know, I mean, you know what? Well, oh man, what can I say, really? Watch out. Boink. That was like a 4D experience. So if you at home have a peanut, throw it in your face I should have warned you ahead of time, but well, let's do it again. All right. So this could be an interactive thing. If you want to maybe buy some peanuts, or if you have a peanut at home, when I flick it, throw it in your own face. Ready? Boink. Oh, shit. All right, let me just throw it. Oh, that was a good one. That hit right on the lens. Hang on. Let's do it again. Oh, shit. Now I lost the other nut. Okay. That one wasn't as good. Damn it. It's like I got it the first time, and then the second time I couldn't do it. Oh, this is a pistachio. Why is there a pistachio in here? Where'd the peanut go? Not again. Sorry, I don't care anymore. I don't care, okay? Jesus Christ. What are we at now? I'm losing hope again. I've never been here filming a video this long because the light of the afternoon sun is starting to... Jeez. Well, so I cracked open the peanut, and now the peanut's gone. I have the empty shell here, and I've still got another half hour. Peanut. I also have been confused because the last time I bought a big old thing of Planters honey roasted peanuts, and they were really good, but I was not exactly sure how many in one sitting I was supposed to eat. I wasn't sure exactly what is customary, because that's an example of something where I could have just probably kept eating them forever. I don't know if I ever would have stopped eating them unless my prefrontal cortex told me to, you know? Because what I do is I just take because you can get the big bottle. So I just take the bottle and, like, while I'm driving and stuff, and I just pour them down there, you know? So I could have kept doing that, cycling through bottles. It was like I would never stop. I have the same problem with a lot of fruit, cherries, you know? I could probably eat 100 cherries in a row and still not even flinch. You know, so I'm curious to know how many of you, how many peanuts, unless you have a peanut allergy, in which case I'm sorry that you've kind of probably felt a little excluded from the party here, or maybe not. You know, maybe this is actually really good for you because you're like able to experience peanuts from a safe distance now, you know. In which case, don't do the 4D experience, because then that would be fatal for you. You know, so you can skip that. Probably should have told you that before. But hopefully, if you have a peanut allergy, you are smart enough not to blindly do whatever I say, which is what I think YouTube... No, okay, let's not. I don't want to be disparaging towards YouTube. YouTube has done a lot for me. Thank you, YouTube, so much for your generosity. Jesus Christ. Peanut. Senor Peanut. Now I'm kind of sad I don't have the peanut anymore. You know? No. Dan, don't. I'm thinking if I should maybe reveal a little bit of a plot twist here. No, I shouldn't. So, the truth is, I don't just have one peanut, I have an entire bag of peanuts. Plot twist. It's like a Chris Nolan movie. Right now, everybody's kind of like, what? Yep, I have a whole bag of them. So, the only reason I want to do this is because there's some interesting ones in here. There's one with 3 nuts. Isn't that crazy? There's one with 3 nuts in it instead of 2. I regret doing that. I regret revealing the plot twist. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you feel lied to or deceived or misrepresented. I had a whole bag of peanuts. But it was true. The peanut it was the same peanut this entire time, I promise. It's been the same peanut. I mean, you saw me. You would have seen if I pulled out a different peanut. It was the same peanut. The one that I dropped, the one that I found, all the same peanut. This is a different peanut because it has 3. And no, I'm sorry, because it's not Dan talks about a bag of peanuts. It's Dan talks about this peanut, which I broke and lost again. Please, God. Are we fucking done yet? Please, God. No, we're not done yet. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. And now I revealed the plot twist and we still have another 30 minutes. It's like when you're watching a movie, you know, and you're like, holy shit. I think that's an Onion headline. Holy shit, there's still 55 more minutes of the movie. Pretty funny. But also, it's just like, stop watching the movie. If you don't want to watch it, why are you watching it? And this is coming from a true cinephile. You know something? The way that I watch movies is a little bizarre, but I will watch movies in 10-minute increments, and I'll watch like 5 in a row. So every night, I don't spend 2 hours watching one movie unless it's really good. I'll sort of leapfrog. So I'll watch 10 minutes of one movie, then take it out, put another one in, another 10 minutes. Take that one out, put another one in, another 10 minutes, 15, you know. And then do that for a bunch of different movies every night. And then the next night, I'll watch the next 10 minutes of that one. And then I'll watch the next 10 minutes of the second one. I'll watch the next 10 minutes of the third one. You know, that's what I do. And you can call me not a real cinephile, but I don't care. I don't want to be a cinephile. The peanut dust in the air is starting to irritate my throat. Excuse me. There's a dog yapping. But don't worry, I'm not going to do... That's on the Dan bingo card. Complaining about dogs. That's the free space in the Dan bingo card. But they are annoying. God. Do dogs like peanuts? Can dogs eat peanuts? Are peanuts... I was going to ask if peanuts are alive, but the answer is yes, at a certain point, but they're not now. These peanuts that I have now are not alive, but they were at one point. That's what I'm curious to see. I'm curious to maybe grow a peanut plant. I wonder if I could take these peanuts and germinate them into a peanut plant. Because I don't think they've been roasted yet. Hell, peanuts, you're ugly. You know, you're ugly. Now they've been roasted. Jeez, the time is now starting to pass really, really slow. Now it's like when I check the clock, only 1 minute has passed, when before it would be like, oh, 20 minutes passed just then. I feel like I'm in solitary confinement. Peanut. Senor Peanut. Oh, God. Fucking hell, man. I don't have any more peanut anecdotes. I don't have any more tangential peanut discussions. I don't have any traffic rants. I've got nothing. I'm spent. I'm an empty shell of a peanut now. Just like this one. And there's still 20 minutes to go. 23 minutes, I think. My math is right. And then I'm gonna get home and be like, oh, I only have like an hour and 15 minutes. No, I think my math is right. I think I've got about 2 hours. What if I just died just now? Maybe there will be some kind of like Deus ex machina, you know, like all of a sudden, you know, there will be a collision in front of me, or a nuke will go off, or an earthquake. Maybe an earthquake would be better. That would be the perfect thing, like a small earthquake, because then I could be like, whoa, and be like, whoa, an earthquake, but it wouldn't, you know, there wouldn't be any casualties or loss of life. Okay, so let's see if we can. I hereby decree, through the powers that invested in me, there will be an earthquake right now. Oh, no, there's not. No, it doesn't work like that in life. It doesn't work like that in life. You can't always get what you want. That's a song. Okay, this is the home stretch. By the way, oh, hey, look, there's a beam of light shining straight in my face. That's the universe telling me that, everything is gonna be all right. It's getting really hot in here. It's getting very hot in here. Peanut. Just trying to keep things on track. Peanut. Peanuts. Peanut. 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 Peanut, 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 peanut. Sorry, I gotta stop doing that. That's not proper these days. Peanut. No, stop it. Peanut. I want to do it again, but I'm not going to. Peanut! No. Another Cybertruck is coming. Oh, it's the same one, I think. No, it's not. Is it? Yeah, it is the same one. So I guess he had to run an errand over there. Peanut. Okay, this sun is really going to be a problem. This sun is really just, you know, you couldn't make it easy, could you? You just had to send that fucking hot LA sun blasting straight onto my heart for the last 20 minutes, just to make sure it really, really rubbed my nose in it. Black Phoebe. It's a Black Phoebe. Black Phoebe. Peanut! No, I'm sorry. Stop it. Stop it. I'm sorry. It's just that after so long, your brain kind of starts to erode your inhibitions. Oh, that feels good when I touch my head like this. That's nice. And I don't have to worry about messing up my hair or my eyebrows. Oh, God. Oh, that's nice. Oh, thank the Lord. I'm not going to say it again. Somebody help me. Why is nobody attempting to rescue me? Clearly, I am in distress. No, I'm not. I'm a prisoner of my own ambition. Peanut. Maybe that can be another rule. Maybe that can be a new rule. If I start going longer, I can say whatever I want. I just have to say peanut every 10 seconds, no matter what it is, peanut. So I could talk about what's something interesting, peanut. Just trying to, I can't, that's the thing. Eventually get so tired you can't even think of anything to say. Peanut. The Strait of Gibraltar. Did you know that? Oh, it's getting really hot in here. It's baking like an oven. Baking like an oven. Please, God. We have got to be almost there. We're not. We're not. Well, we are, but we're also not. Please, God, peanut. Please, God, peanut. Peanut. Well, I can't give up now. I'm almost there. Come on, Dan, you're almost there. Peanut. Ah! This is an acorn. Acorn. Peanut. 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 All right, I gotta think of something to say. I'm just saying peanut over and over again. Think of something to say, man. Something about the peanut. We've totally lost the original peanut. I don't even know where the peanut disintegrated. Boy, the sun really had to blast in here the last stretch. That's great. Thanks, peanut. I'm never having a peanut again. I'm never doing anything related to peanuts ever again. Peanuts. Is that a woodpecker? Can't tell. Peanut. Please, God, please. Come on! Why is time passing so slowly? Jesus fucking Christ. Come on. Alright, okay. Alright. I gotta try to think of some anecdote. It's so hot in here now. It's baking in here. I'm getting broiled. So what's the deal with peanuts? Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll try to do a Jerry Seinfeld-esque bit. What's the deal with peanuts? I mean, what's the deal with peanuts? That doesn't sound like Jerry Seinfeld at all. That sounds like a fucking Muppet. What's the deal with peanuts? Peanuts, by the way, I'm saying. What's the deal with peanuts? I asked my 17-year-old girlfriend. That's a little bit. That's a Jerry Seinfeld impression. That's a little something for the comedy people out there. What's the deal with peanuts? I mean, are you a pea or are you a nut? I mean, you nut peanuts. I mean, I've had peas and I've had nuts, but why do they have to be together? What's the deal with peanuts? I mean, you're a pea or a nut. Pick one. Let's see what some other. Let's do a George Carlin now. It's one. I can't really do George Carlin. Hang on, let me see if I can try. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. That didn't sound like him at all. That was not even close. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. Sorry. That's not very professional. Sorry, I apologize. Come on, Dan, lock in. One big peanut and you ain't in it. Sorry, I'm getting delirious now. That really got me for some reason. I'm sorry. Sorry. That's one big peanut and you ain't in it. All right, Dan, no! Stop it! Okay. Let's see. Let's think of some other comedians, famous comedians, what their style of peanut bit would be. Who's the guy who does the... I really should know his name. That's a... I'm delirious. I'm blaming it on that. Where he's like... I can't get no respect, you know. I told my wife that I was, I told my wife that I had a small peanut, And she was like, y'all, you ain't kidding. What's the deal? No, that's Jerry Seinfeld. Jesus Christ, it's really getting hot in here. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. Just to explain that, maybe I shouldn't explain it. George Carlin was a comedian who, he had a famous bit where he, just if you're not a comedy historian, he had a famous bit where he was talking about how, the memorable line is, it's one big club and you ain't in it, you know, and he's talking about how, like, the rich, it's, you know, the rich sort of make the poor fight with each other and everything, and like it's like, oh, it doesn't, Democrat, Republican, it's one big club and you ain't in it, you know, that's the point. So it's one big peanut and you I'm sorry, that's really funny to me. I don't know why. Jesus Christ. Okay. Almost there. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. Every time. I don't know what it is about it. Sorry, sometimes something just really sort of tickles you, you know. It's not that funny. Hey, shut up! I'm trying to film a video about talking about a peanut for 2 hours over here. Some of us are trying to film videos about peanuts for 2 hours straight in their car over here. It's getting so hot in here. It's like 100 degrees in here. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. Jesus Christ. This last 5 minutes is going to kill me. This last 5 minutes is actually going to kill me. Because now I'm just, the car is directly in the sun. It's one big peanut and you ain't in it. It's not funny anymore. The momentary joy that brought me is completely expired. Let's try to think of some other comedians' bits about peanuts. Louis C.K.'s would be, I jerked off on a peanut. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be like that. Here's another iconic comedian. Well, maybe we don't have to think about just comedians. Maybe it can be like famous quotes about peanuts. I have a peanut. That would be Martin Luther King Peanut Jr. Sorry, it's harder for me now to, I think now that I'm delirious and I'm breaking down, it's harder for me to maintain my composure. I had a peanut. I have a peanut. And then he holds up a peanut. Peanut King Jr. Peanut Luther King Jr. I have a peanut. It's so hot. It's so hot. It's so hot. Okay, Dan, no, don't. Just, come on, you're almost done. I have a peanut. What are some other famous quotes? I can't even think of other. We're gonna need a bigger peanut. Jaws. Ask not what you can do for your peanut, but what your peanut can do for you. That's too much of a mouthful. Luke, I am your peanut. I can't. I'm trying to do Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that peanut. Jesus fucking Christ, man. This is rough. This is rough. I did not have sexual relations with that peanut. I did not have peanut relations with that woman. Home stretch. I did not have. What's another quote? Famous quote. I did not have peanut with that woman. All right, Eddie. Ah! Fucking shit. God damn it, Eddie. Okay, look, it's I'm done. Okay? I'm done. Had enough. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, goodbye. This achieved nothing, and it is of no purpose or value. Just meaningless suffering.